Welcome to the Wildlife Wire. I'm Mark Searles,
And I'm Samantha Miller.
and this is your source for wildlife news and the people that make it. On today's episode, we have black bears in Illinois, osprey in danger in the Chesapeake Bay, drilling in Alaska, and bobcat mismanagement.
Okay, Mark, how was your weekend? How are you doing?
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Mark.
My weekend was good. I don't even, it's one of those weekends you don't even know what happened, but you know it was really busy.
I have had those.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I am lovely. I had a friend visiting from, we've been friends for 30 years now, and it was amazing. And it's so fun to see Rocky Mountain National Park and the lake and all of that good stuff up here through fresh eyes, which was exciting. And yes, we did wear scrunchies, have a sleepover, and listen to Mariah Carey.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you do when you have friends from middle school over.
That is true. That's true.
So,
Yeah.
so beyond middle school reunions and seeing a national park through new eyes, what else is going on in the world of wildlife?
Oh my gosh. There are many things going on, some good, some bad, but I think the biggest thing that I've noted happening in wildlife news right now is a proposed increase in oil and gas development in the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Well, that name is not going to win it a lot of protections, is it?
You know, it's not, but it was actually set aside in 1923 as an emergency reserve for the U.S. Navy by President Harding. And it is more than 23 million acres, or it's like the size of Maine, this whole reserve is. And it's home to caribou, migratory birds, not migratory bears, migratory birds, polar bears, and then indigenous communities. And right now it's actually managed by the Bureau of Land Management. So the BLM is overseeing this massive area. So it's really become a huge site of conservation. And should it open up to oil and gas, this really, really fragile ecosystem that's been preserved as an emergency source of petroleum would then be drilled. Up to 82% of it could be developed.
And I'm guessing that President Trump has said that is a emergency situation now.
Of course, the emergency is now, Mark. And before you think it's because, oh my gosh, we're in a climate crisis, drill, baby, drill. No, that is not what he is thinking. He seems to be very focused on financial gains and how we can make the most money and have the most access to anything we can profit off of in our country and beyond. And it could have far reaching environmental and climate consequences because this area is just such a great site of conservation.
Yeah, that's really disappointing. I mean, he strikes me as the kind of guy that would sell the bricks from his home and the studs in his wall if he could make a couple of bucks off of them.
I know. And at a time when, I've seen so many different studies on the decline of caribou, and this place is actually home to tens of thousands of caribou. And it's really concerning that we would ruin that with things like roads and pipelines and airstrips and gravel pads. And it just really fragments the landscape and it can be really dangerous for migratory animals.
Yeah, and with the caribou too, the caribou in general are declining due to climate change. And since we can't fix that fast enough, areas in Canada are killing wolves so that there can maybe be more caribou because they can't kill climate change. And here we are with an amazing area that provides those animals habitat and the ability to keep their numbers high, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah, and the big thing too is that when I say consequences are far reaching, it's because drilling will actually spread beyond the isolated location and it can degrade permafrost. And that's really what stores a bunch of carbon for us, and it releases the carbon that's been locked in that frozen soil. So it goes beyond the animals, and then of course the human element is also incredibly important. That this administration really delights in harming indigenous communities, people of color. It's really tragic. So there's a lot of issues there. Hopefully, the proposal will not move forward. And I'm hoping for better for the National Petroleum Reserve because, despite its name, it is actually a very fragile ecosystem, and it does a lot for us to mitigate the climate crisis.
Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't move forward. Would it be an executive order to open that up? Do you know, or are they trying to go through Congress?
Yeah, so right now it seems like it is a broader plan or proposal. So I imagine it would go through an executive order. It's just being called a proposal. The administration announced a plan or proposal. So I'm not sure which mechanism they are using to pursue this plan or proposal, but they announced it on June 17th. So it was proposed on June 17th, and scientists are very concerned about it.
Okay, well, we'll certainly have to keep our eyes on that, and whether it's unfortunately whether it's a executive order or ends up going through Congress, the way things are operating right now, both of those avenues aren't good places for wildlife, wild spaces, and anything related to slowing climate change. Do you want to hear about another industry that's having impacts on wildlife?
Maybe.
Not
It's
really,
good
right?
news or
I mean,
bad news?
yeah. Do you want to? No, thanks.
No, I don't. I don't want to hear about it unless it's positive. Maybe are they rehabilitating wildlife? What's happening?
No. So this one is coming out of Virginia and the Chesapeake Bay, and its Osprey came back from the brig once, but now chicks are dying in the nests. And so Osprey were victims of DDT use
Oh no.
up until when it was banned in 1972. Since then, the numbers of osprey have increased dramatically, and now they're in numbers in the thousands. And a real success story about how we can make some changes and maybe not put this or that chemical out there, and our resilient wildlife will come back. But now what they're facing is not in the form of a poison, but in the form of the commercial fishing industry. And specifically, it's a fish called the menhaden. And this fish is valuable for its oil. So you can make like fish oil supplements, fish meal, and then agricultural food as well as bait. So they use this fish oftentimes to catch the more valuable lobsters in Maine.
Huh.
What's bad though is it so with the fishing industry says that, oh, this is like the most sustainable fish harvest around. And at the same time, so they're bringing in about $200 million, and this is one of the world's largest fisheries. That $200 million comes from over 1 billion pounds of menhaden fish every year since 1951. And I don't know total numbers on menhaden fish, but I'm guessing that 1 billion pounds a year probably not sustainable.
Yeah. Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
just right off, just like third grader math here. It
Okay,
seems
I'm
like
ready.
that would be a big red flag. You can't take that habitat is not made to be able to remove that many fish. And so what's happening is the ospreys are suffering. Their birth rates are way down. They need an average of 1.15 chicks per year per couple, and they're at about half that right now. And the fish industry is saying, oh well, it's not us, it's climate change, it's pollution, it's development. Those are the things that are to blame, which I'm sure some of that certainly plays a role. And at the center of it, though, is 1 billion pounds of fish. And you know, I'm all for industries being able to actually uh, produce sustainable yields like that of like fish populations. But we know, especially from our friends up in the Pacific Northwest, that sustainable fishing usually ends in tragedy.
Yeah, it's not as sustainable, and it often doesn't consider the native wild species that also rely on fish populations.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. These systems were developed were made over time on our planet to factor in natural prey and predator relationships, not you know overfishing with high tech boats and nets continuously running, and like that is an abnormal relationship and nature. And uh, we really got to think about, like, well, how much do we need fish oil supplements? How much do we need to have that Maine lobster for dinner? And really put the economic pressure on these commercial industries that are depleting our oceans.
Well, I think that maybe from this, from our very depressing trajectory we're on, maybe we should close out mismanagement with your other news story and make a pivot towards terrestrial mismanagement too. And then we can end with, I promise, something that's a little bit more fun.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Okay.
And we've been doing a number of good, positive stories lately, and so it you gotta put in a little bit of the other side every once in a while, and so that's what I'm doing today. Not
Okay.
because I'm trying to make our listeners feel doomed and sad about our planet, but this is actually a blog, and it comes from a friend of the pod, David Niels, who was on recently talking about tracking bobcats and mountain lions. And so he titled this blog Colorado Bobcat Mismanagement. I think a pretty strong title. I think I understand right away what we're going to be talking about. Um,
Right.
and I think it's pretty safe to say that you could strike Colorado from that title and insert whatever state name you choose, and you're going to come up with the same results. And so what David goes into is talking about, okay, how are bobcats being managed and what are they being managed for? And we know that there really is no science driving management in bobcats, whether it's in Colorado or most other states. And it's actually managing uh, the income that the state generates from sales of fur bearer tags, right? And And so why what benefits are these bobcats getting from unlimited killing of them? And I'm happy for you to tell me one, because I don't know of one.
Ooh. Oh, sorry. I was trying to brainstorm here with you. I was pondering. okay, I'm a bobcat. You can kill as many of me as you want.
And you can
I
make a lot of
get,
money too.
oh, and you can sell me. I I give up. Wait, who is it benefiting? Not the bobcat.
It's not the Bobcat, is it? And it's really
No.
not even benefiting the state agencies much either. I mean, like here in Colorado, just like other states, you buy a $35 fur bearer license and that's it. I mean, you can kill as many bobcats as you want and coyotes and mink and beaver, whatever you want. You got 17 species to go ahead and choose from there and kill as many as you want for $35. So the whole kind of program is dysfunctional. And I was talking with David this morning actually, and you know, it sounds like a plan that anyone could come up with in 20 seconds. And the plan
Right.
is
Okay.
we don't know how many there are, but you can kill as many as you want. All right, what's the next item on the agenda?
Oh, okay. I thought there was more to the
That's
plan than
nope,
that. I
nope,
was
that's it.
waiting.
That's
Oh,
it.
okay. Wow. That seems not very scientific. What kind of science supports that?
Um, Science from the upside down world, maybe? I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I think it's too bad. I think it's really too bad that more people don't know this because I think if more people knew, they'd be really upset. I think that a lot of folks, we see people in uniform and we think, wow, they're helping the wildlife. And with carnivore populations, it seems like we've just thrown out that part of the mandate in a lot of different ways. Of our state agencies have thrown out part of the mandate in a lot of different ways, where if we're saying you can kill an unlimited number of a species, or we're saying you can kill as many as you regulate, right? As you, Mr. Trapper, say is enough. Um, that doesn't seem very responsible.
No, it doesn't. And you've said it before that you growing up thought, oh, these folks are here to take care of the animals. And there's honestly, I also want to separate the staff on the ground is implementing their directives, right? And so there are many, many great agency staff around the country, and they're just doing what they're told to do. And they do a lot of great things and help animals in a wide variety of ways. But when policy is saying this is what you need to do, then that policy needs to change in order for these animals to be managed more for their benefit and not just for ours.
Yeah, and it's incredibly hard to change these policies that have been in place. Really, they were put in place, and I will beat this drum until I die, Mark. They were put in place for hunters and
Boom.
trappers and not for the wild animals. So I think that, you and I participate in this uphill fight a lot where it appears like we're trying to take something away from a certain subset of humans. But really, what we're trying to do is have equality and sustainability in wildlife as it exists amongst us across different states for me and in Colorado for you. And I hope we can get there. Did you want to hear about another state maybe a little
Let's
bit
do
in
it.
our last news story? Okay. So here is the headline, and I want you to tell me why it might be news. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Well, it's
Black
news because it has a headline.
Black bears in Illinois. Some recent sightings in Northwest town.
Okay. Well, first, I like that you started reading that like you were AI. And, and so that is news. Illinois, n- Northwest Illinois.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there hadn't been bears there in a long time.
Well, do you know what the population is of black bears in Illinois? Pop quiz. You don't get to
More
look it
than
up.
one.
There is a zero
Zero.
resident population of black bears in Illinois.
Wow, I thought I was
So
being safe with one or more.
I I know. So you were wrong. either way. The price is wrong, Mark. That right now, when sightings are reported, they're saying that black bears will wander into Illinois from Wisconsin or Missouri, and that there are 0 bears that are reproducing within Illinois as a source population. Now, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources hasn't ruled out that there could never be a source population in Illinois, but currently these are just meandering out-of-state bears taking a tour. Just maybe they want to see the Cubs play. Haha.
Hey.
Sports. So it's really cool that they're starting to migrate a bit that way. And Illinois Department of Natural Resources has put out an alert to folks, letting them know how to coexist with bears and to be bear aware, doing good things like securing garbage, removing attractants, don't throw things at bears, general things like that. And it'll be interesting to see if there are more black bears in Illinois and if they end up establishing a population there ever in the future.
Yeah, well, we can hope. If a black bear wanders into Illinois, does anyone hear? Apparently, yes. And it becomes a news story, right?
Yes. People talk about it. People are talking about the black bears in Illinois, and we're excited to hear about it and share it with all of you. So
yeah, I'm happy for Illinois.
Check out our link and you can see some black bears in Illinois all on your own.
Great. Well, and this week we're gonna go to a smaller mammal for our interview on Thursday and talk bats.
Talking bats. We'll be back with bats. Thanks, folks. Good
right
to talk to you, Mark.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been an episode of The Wildlife Wire with me, Mark Searles, and my co-host, Samantha Miller. Thank you for listening.